be tackling famous authors and some of their works under the literature after EDSA. But before that, let us proceed to our learning outcomes. So at the end of the lesson, the pre-service teacher should be able to first explain the historical background of both EDSA literature. Secondly, identify the characteristics of both EDSA Philippine literature. And lastly, recognize famous authors and their notable works. Period ushered a renaissance of creative freedom, and where, again, writers here are able to express themselves openly without fear of censorship. So the new democratic atmosphere encouraged experimentation, diversity, and innovation in literary forms and themes. Author, authors here explored contemporary social realities such as a poverty, corruption, gender inequality, migration, and cultural identity. And then, and critics began applying Western style of writing, such as the feminism, structuralism, and post-colonialism to our to their local works. So after the regime of Ferdinand Marcos and open new uh, way of writing, they adopted the modern literary theories from the West. Next is publishers support experimental and non-traditional works. So here, the publishing houses became open to works that uses unconventional forms, mixed languages, and new styles. So there's no format like before, like formal way. Wala na. They are publishing house are often to experimental and non-traditional works that has mixed languages, pwede Taglish, and then also new styles. So they become open or they became open to it. They supported it. Next is the decline of new criticism and the rise of flexible literary approaches. So before, it's a form and structure. So amo ng focus. However, it opened now for interpretation that considered social, cultural, and the political context. So, wala na lang ito nag-focus sa forms and structures. Nanging flexible man ang literary approaches sa literature after the martial law. Next is the revival of regional literature and local languages. So writers began producing works in Cebuano, Ilocano, Waray, Hiligaynon, and they don't just focus in the context or in the languages of Tagalog and English. So they explore in regional literature and local languages. Next, we have the growth of feminist, post-colonial, and social political writing. So here, female and marginalized voices found their place in literature and giving rise to more diverse perspectives. So they uh, this this way they open new new way of giving more diverse perspective and or giving more diverse perspective. Next, famous authors in the literature after EDSA. And these writers symbolizes the freedom, creativity, awareness that emerged after the 1986 revolution. And they wrote stories, poems, essays reflecting identity, democracy, gender, and social issues. What happened to my slides? First on the line, we have Lilia Guindosa Santiago. Who is Lilia Guindosa Santiago? So she was born in Manaoag, Pangasinan. So her provincial roots influenced her focus on cultural and indigenous identity. And she is a professor at UP Diliman and later taught at University of Hawaii. So her academic career helped spread Philippine literature internationally since she taught at the University of Hawaii. And she is an advocate of feminism and indigenous representation. So she wrote about women's struggles and, of course, empowerment within the Filipino society. Next, she explored the lives of Ilocanos and other indigenous groups, so she gave importance to regional voices often ignored in mainstream writing. So she focused on the regional voices on her write-ups. So her notable works include Tula sa Sanaysay and The Very Last Story of Whole. Her poetry combines storytelling and, of course, the cultural reflection. So that is Lilia Guendosa Santiago. Secondly, we have Charleston Ong. So who is Charleston Ong? Charleston Ong is a Chinese Filipino writer and screenwriter. So his stories often center on the Chinoy or the Chinese and Filipino experience in Philippine society. And Charleston Ong is a AB psychology graduate in UP Diliman and a fellow at UP Institute of Creative Writing. So his psychology background enriches his understanding in terms of human behavior and, of course, and the identity also. Next, we have the multi-awarded Palanca National Book Award recipient. So Charleston Ong is a multi-awarded Palanca and National Book Award recipient, which explores issues or which proves that his literary excellence and influence in modern Filipino fiction. And then his themes or the writings that he wrote explored the themes of identity, diaspora, Chinese Filipino experience. So it explores issues of belonging, heritage, and also cultural conflict. Next, his notable works include Blue Angel, White Shadow, An Embarrassment of Riches, The Trouble in Beijing. So these works blend history, culture, and identity through compelling storytelling. So that is Charles Ong, our second famous author. Next, we have Jose Dalisay Jr. So Jose Dalisay Jr. is a fictionist, poet, playwright, essayist, and screenwriter, a multi-talented author who writes across many genres. Next, over 20 books published, 6 national book awards. So he is recognized as one of the most awarded Filipino authors since Gani. He published 20 books and 6 National Book Awards, di ba? Next, we have named one of the CCP's 100 most accomplished Filipino artists of the century. So he was being acknowledged because of his huge contribution to literature and culture. And his notable works include Old Timer and Other Stories, Killing Time in a Warm Place, The Island, The Lavas, A Filipino Family. So these works portray ordinary Filipinos' lives and the struggle with change and identity. So that is Jose Dalisay Jr., our third famous author. Next, we have Ricardo Lee, or he is called as Ricky Lee. So he is a fictionist, journalist, screenwriter, icon of Philippine cinema. So he's known for his award-winning screenplays and socially relevant storytelling. And he wrote 150 plus screenplays since 1973. So one of the most prolific writers in the country. Next, over 50 to 70 awards, Gawad Urian Lifetime Achievement Award 2003. His legacy is well recognized both locally and internationally. Next, we have his works often explore truth, morality, and national identity. So he uses film and fiction to reflect Filipino values and of course the struggles of Filipino. Next, his notable works include Kabilang sa Mga Nawawala. Next is Si Tatang at Mga Himala ng Ating Panahon. Both works highlight Filipino resilience and belief in miracles amid hardships. So, the works of Ricardo Lee or Ricky Lee focuses on Filipinos and the values, the resiliency of the Filipino. So that is our fourth famous author, Ricardo Lee or Ricky Lee. Next, we have Marjorie Evasco. Marjorie Evasco is an award-winning poet writing in English and Cebuano. So she promotes bilingualism and cultural pride through poetry. So she writes poetry in terms of English and Cebuano or Cebuano. Then she is a feminist advocate and the co-founder of WICC, Eureka, and Villa. Supports mentors women writers in the Philippines. Next, we have writes about nature, womanhood, and spirituality. So it combines personal reflection and environmental themes. Next, her notable works include Sagada Steals in a Floating World, A Legacy of Light. Her poetry expresses calm observation and inner strength. So that is Marjorie Evasco. Next, we have Ruth Ilinia Mabanglo. She is a poet, playwright, and an educator, a respected figure in Filipino literature and she advocates for language. Former coordinator at the University of Hawaii and Manoa, Manoa promoted the study of Filipino and Philippine literature abroad. So, gin-teach naman dito ang Philippine literature. An advocate for Filipino language and literature. Worked to keep Filipino culture alive among overseas Filipinos. Next, over 30 years published poetry, numerous awards. So those award is garnered those poetry rather garnered numerous award and a long career of inspiring Filipino students and writers. So of course, her poetry inspired Filipino students and readers. Next, her notable works include Liham ni Pinay mula sa Brunei, Balada ni Lola Amonita, Anyaya ng Imperialista. So her poems discuss migration, feminism, and nationalism. Next, last we have Danton Remoto. Danton Remoto is a writer, essayist, editor, columnist, and professor, known for his versatility and clear advocacy through writing. So, uh, his advocacies is clear. He is clear, and you can see it on his write-ups. And Chair Emeritus of Ladlad, an LGBT political party. So one of the Philippines' strongest voices for equality and inclusion. So he's a chair emeritus of Ang Ladlad. So that is an LGBT political party. And amo na siyang strong voice for equality and inclusion. And he teaches English and journalism at Ateneo de Manila University, inspires young artists, and promotes critical thinking. Next, we have themes includes identity, nationalism, sexuality, and social change. Uses literature to discuss truth, human rights, and love for country. So his notable works include Skin Voices, Faces, X Factor, Ladlad. So these are the collection that explores personal and national identity. So we will delve on the one of the works under his collection, the Skin, Voices, and Faces. So that is the oh shit. And Faces of Danton Rimoto is entitled Candles. So candles. This poem is a symbolic and emotional poem describing how the nation's light is slowly fading due to people's inaction and indifference. So let's read ang poem ngayon. Okay. This is my country that seems to have run out of candles to burn. The wind has blown them out one by one as the people slept. So ano lang siya, tercet lang siya, tatlo lang siya. And ang structure niya is A, B, C, A, C, A, B, C, D, con, out, run out. Oh, let's not delve to it. Okay, let's discuss the candles. So the themes explores loss of hope and national apathy. So the poet shows disappointment that people have lost their passion for change as the people slept ganit. So candles here explores the light, the hope, and of course the patriotism. So each candle represents a Filipino spark of idealism and of course the love for the country. Next, our wind. So wind explores corruption, oppression, or outside influence, forces that destroy the light, and of course the hope one by one. Light of hope one by one. Amo na siya ang wind. So, di ba, gani kung naghangin, it, it what? Kinapatay niya ang light sa candle. So, that's the representation of the wind. Next, we have people sleeping. So that is the citizens in action or silence. So the nation's problems grow worse because people ignore them. So, diba, if we talk about corruption, okay, if people seems to have blinded with that, or they consider that as ano lang, natural na lang na corruption, permi naman ang corruption. So, we're being blinded to it. And it silence our freedom, or it silence our truth to be heard. Next, of course, the tone of this is sad, reflective, and critical. So, overall, this poem explores the the poem is a critique of post-EDSA disillusionment, where Filipino gained freedom but lost vigilance. It warns that democracy dies when people stop caring. So that is the message of our poem Candles. And also, it is a both lament and a call to action, urging the nation to keep its moral and patriotic flame alive. And the poet urges readers to wake up and relight the candles, to bring back courage, honesty, and unity. That would be all. Thank you. Once again, I am Erica.